The history of Ashdown Forest, from a royal hunting park to the present day, charts the lives of commoners who, by grazing their sheep and cattle and coppicing the forest, led to it becoming the largest area of heathland in the southeast. This traditional way of life, however, has all but disappeared, and today few residents exercise their commoners' rights. The conservators of Ashdown Forest are now responsible for preserving this unique heathland for the benefit of everyone. This film takes a look behind the scenes and reveals just what it takes to manage and maintain Ashdown Forest in the 21st century. All the conservation work is carried out by a team of 4 rangers under the direction of a conservation officer and ultimately the forest director. Each ranger has his own area or chase and is assisted by 3 countryside workers, a grazing officer and assistant, and of course volunteers. Each season of the year brings its own tasks. Whilst some of the more mundane duties, such as litter picking, go on all year round, it's the autumn and winter months when the majority of the conservation work is carried out. Every Monday morning, a meeting takes place at the Forest Centre when the programme for the week ahead is discussed and the list of tasks is shared out between the teams. These meetings also provide an opportunity for staff to raise any issues, share information about events, and to discuss new projects. Throughout the week, staff at the Forest Centre handle a whole range of tasks. The issuing of riding permits, the mailing of commoners' rate demands and of the Ashdown Forest Life magazine. They also deal with bylaw infringements and all manner of inquiries from the general public. When a call comes in involving a deer collision or another emergency for the rangers, they're in radio contact with them immediately. Health and safety plays a big part in the daily lives of all forest staff, and some, if not all, of the rangers' duties carry a high degree of risk. Felling dangerous roadside trees, scrub clearance, removing invasive shrubs, logging, backburning, fire drills and boundary walking all have to be completed whatever the weather, and all need a risk assessment before commencing the work. Identification of potentially dangerous trees which might affect the highway or other amenity areas is carried out when the trees are in leaf. To minimise wildlife disturbance, any actual tree removal happens during the winter months. With permission for roadworks obtained from East Sussex County Council highways, appropriate signage and stop-go boards are set up on the road. All staff on site must be wearing high visibility tabards as a minimum, and when operating chainsaws, rangers must wear chainsaw trousers, boots and a helmet with face guard and ear defenders. None of the timber from the felled trees is wasted, with the supply of logs fueling the Forest Centre's wood-burning boiler. The clearance of young trees has caused some controversy, as people tend to believe that felling any tree is bad for wildlife. This simply isn't true. A lot of the woodland on the forest is young scrub woodland and, if left unchecked, would invade the heathland and destroy the unique habitats which are the reason for the forest's special environmental status and designations. So specialist machines are used to clear large areas of recoverable heathland to encourage habitat regeneration. Due to the huge amount of litter left by some of our visitors, picking it up is a year-round task. It would really save considerable man-hours if visitors would only take their litter home with them. And whilst we really welcome well-behaved dogs on the forest, we would urge owners to clear up any mess and not to leave plastic doggy bags hanging on trees. Unfortunately, whether by accident or not, the forest is very susceptible to fires, and these can quickly get out of control, destroying large areas. An uncontrolled accidental fire at the wrong time of year can have a devastating effect on fledgling birds in nests and emerging animals unable to escape the flames. Various techniques are used to control accidental fires, including backburning. This is a highly skilled procedure and uses fire to fight fire. By setting the vegetation alight and allowing it to burn back towards the oncoming fire, a break is created in the path of the advancing flames, halting their progress. Training for this is a dangerous activity and can only be carried out during the winter before the ground nesting birds start building nests in the spring. Firemen from local stations will be on hand to assist with managing the fire if required, and also to learn how backburning can be used to manage a fire. All forest staff wear flame retardant overalls and safety boots, with the overalls pulled down over the top of the boots to stop embers falling inside. Flame retardant high visibility tabards are also worn, and all staff carry two-way radios for communication. The rangers have a firefighting appliance at their disposal to manage the backburn and to damp down afterwards. Once a year, armed with a GPS two-way radio and a forest boundary map, the rangers walk their particular chase to check that the boundaries are still in the right location and that no one has encroached on forest land. Before setting off, they inform the Forest Centre staff where they're walking and when they should be back. They will also log and report any instances of rubbish or abandoned vehicles on the forest. In addition to the commoners' sheep and cattle, the conservators have their own flock of about 300 Hebridean sheep as part of an experiment to reintroduce grazing on the forest. This is beneficial for the heathland and avoids the use of tractors in certain circumstances. Part of the grazing staff's daily routine during the winter months is feeding the Hebridean flock. This is done by loading up a hopper with feed behind a quad bike and releasing it on the move with the sheep following, ensuring that they get some exercise at the same time as feeding. Lambing takes place from mid-April, and soon afterwards the sheep are moved from their winter grazing areas back onto the forest. During the summer months, the sheep need shearing, their feet clipped, and periodically they need vaccinations and worming treatment. With a flock of 300, this is now quite a task. Additionally, cattle are essential in the grazing programme, as they're largely dog-proof, graze in a different manner from sheep, and can provide income to offset costs. When selecting which breed to introduce, it was decided to go for rare colour forms of Galloway cattle, and there are also Exmoor and Welsh mountain ponies grazing on the forest. There are 48 car parks on Ashdown Forest, and with over 1 million visitors a year, they need to be maintained, sometimes by outside contractors bringing in specialist machinery. This maintenance work includes general repairs to fences and walls and the filling in of potholes. Fly tipping is becoming increasingly widespread, and identifying and clearing away this unwanted rubbish also forms part of the ranger's duties. Tractors are used to mow the rides, which act not only as fire breaks, but also form an important amenity for the equestrian community, who pay for the wonderful riding on the forest by way of permits. In the past, bracken was cut by the commoners in order to provide bedding for their animals. Control of bracken is one of the most significant factors in bringing about vegetation change on the forest. Bracken mowing ensures that this invasive plant is controlled and allows the regeneration of the heath. Purple rhododendron and black cherry are also invasive plants and would quickly get out of control if left unchecked. They're sprayed or dug out and burned so that they do not take over and suffocate the endangered species on the forest. The routine maintenance of the tractors and other equipment is carried out by the team on a Friday afternoon. Wildlife surveys on the flora and fauna of the forest keep a check on how the conservation work is going and provide vital information on the general state of health of the forest. For example, there are butterfly surveys undertaken weekly from April through to September, and the results are sent to butterfly conservation as part of a national monitoring scheme. Trees are surveyed annually, together with vegetation mapping about every 10 years to monitor habitat change. Birds are continually monitored by the Ashdown Forest Bird Group, and reptiles, pond life, invertebrates and ants are all subject to one-off surveys. Dormice are also regularly monitored and surveyed twice a year. Marsh gentians, early marsh orchids and fragrant orchids are counted annually, and invasive species are monitored continuously for spread and reinfection. These ongoing surveys also identify potentially dangerous trees, broken fences and encroachments, and help to build up a picture of tasks to be done in the months ahead. Traffic collisions involving the wild deer of the forest are a continual problem, as the rangers tend to be the first point of contact if a deer is injured or killed when involved in a collision with a vehicle. Signs have been erected showing how many collisions have been recorded in the past 12 months, but really the education of the motorist is the best weapon against the high incidence of deer collisions. Speed is the main contributory factor, of course, but also the need to be vigilant at all times, particularly at dawn and dusk during the rutting season, which is October and November for fallow deer and July and August for roe deer. All of this vital conservation work is undertaken by a really small team of dedicated staff who have an extraordinarily wide range of skills. Without their efforts and those of the volunteers who help tremendously, the heathland would soon be lost and this unique environment which supports so many endangered species would be gone forever. The role of the Society of Friends of Ashdown Forest cannot be overstated in this regard. Without their significant financial contribution over the years, much of the programme of ongoing conservation work would simply not have taken place, and the forest would certainly not be as you see it today. Since 1961, they have funded machinery and equipment, including rangers' vehicles, tractors, trailers, cutters, chippers and assorted mowers, radio systems, office equipment, publications, walks leaflets, signage and payments towards habitat and invertebrate surveys. They have also purchased and reinstated areas that were once part of the forest, including parcels of land at Isle of Thorns, Braebury Hatch, Chuck Hatch, Chelwood Gate and a 50% contribution to 69 acres at Chelwood Vashery. So a big thank you to all the friends, past and present, who've made this possible. If you care about Ashdown Forest and would like to be a part of the story, why not join the Friends and make a real contribution? Details can be found on their website and at the Forest Centre. We hope this film has given you a better understanding of the conservation work that is vital for the safeguard of the unique forest habitats. There are other films available at the Forest Centre, together with a wealth of printed material and guides designed to help you make the most of your visit. Together, we can enjoy and protect the natural beauty of Ashdown Forest for years to come.